Okay, so I'll read for you bio and then we'll kick in. So, our guest today on the first Extracast is Theo Constanti. Is that how you pronounce your name, Theo?
Yes, fine.
Yeah. Theo is a client of Let's Run Social, and having got to know him well, I thought he'd be the perfect first guest for the show. What Theo has achieved so far in business is fascinating considering his start. At only 17, Theo lost his hand in a motorcycle accident, but this did not stop him. Only 2 years later, at 19, while recovering from such a traumatic ordeal, Theo obtained his degree in economics, which led to immediately starting his first business, an advertising company. By the time Theo was 21, he was employing 70 people, and at 22 years of age, Theo paid off his parents' mortgage for them and retired them to Cyprus, where they live today. Now Theo runs a successful construction business providing marble, stone, tiling and construction services to architects, kitchen companies, interior designers, main contractors and builders. This is how James and I came to know Theo as we run his Facebook advertising. Theo is an accomplished businessman, having won a young entrepreneur of the Year award in his late 20s. He is a member of the Academy of Business Leaders and Entrepreneurs and was at one point the director of the largest business networking group of its kind in the UK. Theo has been involved in programs with business education events and in 2020 won an award by Santander as the most inspirational business mentor of the year. We talk his business journey, marketing, and a lot more. I hope you enjoy. Theo, welcome to the Extracast podcast. Wow.
Thank you, Nick.
Achievement.
It's an honor to be the first guest on the Let's Run Facebook Ads podcast.
And welcome.
May I say.
James is here with us. If you're seeing this on YouTube, actually, if you're going to watch this on YouTube, Theo, why don't you hold up your little award?
Little award? Beg your pardon.
Award. Sorry. Bring it closer. There we go.
This is the Santander. Is that? Should I turn it around? Is it red?
No, that was fine as you were.
That was the best one.
Yeah?
There we go.
So
legit.
Santander, business leader, mentoring program of the year, blah blah blah. Anyway, less about me. Let's talk about you.
Less about me. You're the guest. It's only going to be about me.
This whole podcast is about you.
Well, thank you very much for
less about me. Okay, and thanks for listening.
And thanks for having me on. I'm your greatest fan. You know that.
Well, I'm going to ask a question, Theo. I'm going to start off by, I never knew you had one hand.
Yeah, here it is for the viewers on YouTube. Real hand, fake hand. Here it goes. Is it like you just knew when you read my bio, or you?
Yeah, I read the bio this morning. I'm like, not that I've ever said to someone, "Oh, have you got two hands?" Like, it's not a normal question. So how? Yeah,
because we never met in person, have we, James? Because obviously our introduction was since
lockdown.
COVID, and there's no handshakes, there's no greeting, and I guess in a Zoom you never really see anyone's arms, do you? Hands?
No.
Yeah, so that was when it all started, really, losing my hand. Yeah, when I was 17.
Were you messing around on a motorbike?
I was going a bit faster than I should have been.
So, because a 17-year-old on a motorbike compared to a 35-year-old on a motorbike is probably a bit different, isn't it?
I mean, yeah, I could have been a bit more careful, but what do you know at 17? I mean, what do we know at 35, right?
True.
Let alone 17.
Yeah,
but it was a nice experience at the time, but obviously it didn't end well. Things happen for a reason. I was never very practical. I was never going to use two hands anyway, so it worked out okay in the end.
So having an accident like that, how is that? Because obviously in your bio and what I read to write what I wrote, you do lots of talks and things like this. So is it one of these things that's like actually shaped your career from giving you more determination and things like that?
See, I was always quite determined. I was one of those guys that I was never the smartest at school, but I'd always get pretty good grades because I'm quite competitive. I'd want to beat my brother or beat, some of the other kids in the class. So that competitiveness was always there. I was a waiter before I lost my hand part-time while I was at school. Like at the weekends, I'd waiter and stuff like that. And when I lost my hand, my mum was like, right, yeah, we're going to have to find a new career for you. So she said, my mum was a part-time telesales person as she raised us. She'd jump on the phones, do some advertising.
Yeah.
And she got me involved in her company. And me being not a bad talker, I was quite good at the telesales. And that's kind of how I was working for this company selling advertising on the internet, very early days internet. I was 18, so that was 2002 at the time. And, when I mean internet, there was like Yahoo and MSN and not a lot. There was no Google,
Yeah.
And we were selling adverts online for all sorts of things. And the company would charge anywhere between 80 and £100 for an advert, and we were getting £10 commission. Well, this is not a good deal here. I'm getting the advert, I'm doing the work, I'm speaking to the. I said, how hard is it to set this company up? Well, I need a phone, I need a computer, and a few magazines, The Loot, a couple of other, things where people are selling stuff. And basically it was a transition of you're selling it on a newspaper and a magazine now with this new thing called the internet. Do you want to sell it on the internet? And I had the experience because I worked at a telesales company, and I set my own thing up while I was at uni. With my uni friends were desperate for work, so I taught them all how to jump on the phones and do telesales. And literally, our first week we did £8,000. Our second week was 10,000. And
what? So who were you? Who were you? So how many of you are on the phone? So are you working from like a house, or are you in like literally?
No. So
just quickly, Nick. Just quickly, I've got this image. On the first scenes of Wolf of Wall Street where he gets his old buddies. Yeah. That I've just got that image right now. Theo, it was mates from uni.
It was pretty much like that. I mean, I'm not going to lie. We had a book. So it was my second year exams at uni, and I was doing economics, and my last exam was in May. So I said, right, I've got the 1st of June till I weren't going back to uni till October. So I had about 4 or 5 months, and I thought, what have I got to lose? Right? Something preceded this. I used to throw parties. So when I lost my hand, I rented a local club, and it was my 18th birthday, and I invited everyone. Anyway, about 400 people came. The club said to me, Theo, it was the best night since we started. Can you do a party every month? I was like, but it's not my birthday. That doesn't matter. Just go to all your friends, go to all the schools and colleges, get people in it. So I made some little flyers, literally like you print off on a computer. I went to 10 different schools and colleges, and I put my flyer in the sixth form room in the little canteeny area, whatever. Anyway, and there it was, and the clubs would give me the door money. So the door money was like £5 a person, 400 people, £2,000 once a month.
So they make their money out of the drink and whatever.
They make the money out of the drink. So I saved like 10, 15,000 over 6 months. And then I rented out my student union, and I did a massive Valentine's ball with like 1,000 people. And I made like £6,000, £7,000 on that night. So I was the richest kid at my uni. I was the only student that had money in his pocket. And then I used that £10,000 really. And that time I'm talking about that time from June to October, I took an office lease for 6 months at £180 a week. And I thought, right, it's a 10 grand punt. If it doesn't go well, it's not a big deal. I've took a stab at it, and that was it. And me and my friends, first week, we jumped on the phone. We had the training. And then honestly, within a month, I had like 10, 15 staff. We were flying. I remember at the end of that summer, I was 19, 20 years old. And I looked in my bank account, and I had £85,000, and it was like enough to pay off my parents' mortgage at the time. It was just so much money.
No way.
And I went and finished my degree at uni, and then the company just grew and grew. And, at one point, like you said, I had 75 staff. I had deals with Money Supermarket, Tesco's, Top Gear, Exchange and Mart. We were selling anything from car advertising to old furniture. And at that time, you could build websites quick and cheap. I mean, you can now, to be fair. But I built 100 websites over that summer. So it wasn't just we'll advertise you on a website. It was we'll advertise your table and chairs on 100 websites. It's £1 a website.
So how were you getting these clients? How were you getting the Money Supermarkets to become a client?
So we literally just calling them, be like, hi, we're selling products and not everyone can afford to buy that. So let's say it was a car. Are you prepared to arrange finance for these people? And if you do, they're looking for lenders. You're a lender. Put it together, and they would give us money if the customer would take finance with them.
So like a bit of an affiliate, basically.
An affiliate, yeah, way back then. So, and it was telesales was less regulated back then as well. So,
Yes, it was. Everything was less regulated back then.
Yeah. So,
Jesus.
but it was a great experience. And then I was 22, 23, and my friend came to me and said, "Look, Theo, you seem to know what you're doing in terms of the sales and the business side. I manufacture granite worktops. I'm a really good stonemason. If you can handle that and you've got a little bit of money to invest, let's do this together." And we did. And we started very small, my mum and dad's garage, cut and polished a few worktops in there, and then slowly built up to the company today, where we have, not quite hit 100 staff yet, but almost there, in a 20,000 square foot factory in Welham Green. Brilliant. Where we manufacture about 80 worktops a week.
Yeah.
So the telesales business, Theo, what happened with that in the end? Did you sell that off?
Well, it was so easy to start that company that what happened was, when I had these, at the moment it was fine with my friends at the beginning when I had 18, 19-year-olds working for me. But then my friends' parents started working for me, and all of a sudden everyone was older, and they thought, one second, I thought, this ain't hard. Why can't we just do this? And I was paying £20 commission on an £80 sale. Anyway, about 10 of my staff left within 6 months, all set up their own businesses doing the same thing. Before I could blink, there was where there was 3 or 4 companies doing what we were doing, there was 100 overnight. So we tailored the business. We started cold calling people in America, which was brilliant because the Americans would say yes to everything back then. And it went for 5 years, and then the money just was, we were doing £25,000, £30,000 a week at one time. And it went all the way down to £7,000, £8,000 a week. By the time I had my costs and it just wasn't what it was. And then Marble Group kicked off, and I started another company, a property company. And we closed that down, and everything else was flying. And it's time, really. I guess that's kind of evolved. That telesales side, sales, marketing, is kind of evolved to my role now, running Stanti, my sales.
It's all a journey, isn't it? But I remember James and I, our background's data. You go back 2009, 2010, telemarketing companies, they're all over the place, aren't they? They're still there now, and they have good reason to be. But, the PPI kicked in, didn't it?
All of that.
All over the shop when the regulations
car accident people, they were just calling everyone saying, "You've been involved in an accident."
Completely. So really you've had so advertising is a major thing for you, because you're obviously trying to sell that as from a telemarketing point of view as well. And in business it's such an important thing, isn't it? Which is why people, so I think these sort of things come naturally to some people. It's a very entrepreneurial kind of thing, isn't it? That automatically the advertising is the natural part, don't you think? Or it's you just got to get yourself out there.
I think that a lot of these things are learned, Nick. I think James came into your first business early on, didn't he? And he learned what he was kind of taught by you, if you like. And I had my mum who was in telesales, and I had my older brother that was doing it. So don't get me wrong.
But you have a flair, though. You automatically. But what I'm saying is, you automatically
you
know that you
type. You have a bit of character. But I taught telesales to people that you would never believe would be able good at it. My mum is
you've got some stories. God, we've got some stories.
She's quiet.
Oh,
I bet you have.
But you know what,
you will
Theo?
know.
You are right.
Sorry,
I've got. No, I was going to say I've got a bit of a bugbear. And what really pisses me off when people are, he's a born salesperson. No one's a born salespeople. They've got character. No. They've got a bit of a character, and they may have a bit of arrogance to them. They may be a bit confident, but no one is born sales. You don't fucking come out the room and go.
Sales is science.
Completely.
Is science. And that's why things like Facebook ads work so much, because they understand that sales is a science. And, so you mentioned The Wolf of Wall Street. He wrote a book called The Way of the Wolf. And he teaches a way of selling. He calls it straight line selling, 1 to 10. It's a great book. I have tailored that book a little bit, and I deliver a workshop based on that book. And it's just about how to get someone from 1 to 10. 1 is the entry point, the first time you speak to them, and 10 is, at the point that you close the sale. And we use it a lot in kitchens. We sell kitchens. So, one is they've put an inquiry on Facebook. They're interested in the picture that you put up, and how are you going to take their money at the end to sell them a 35, 40,000 pound kitchen? What is the process? And it's about getting from 1 to 10. So yeah, anyone can sell, but it's like anything. You have to practice. It's like playing a game of chess.
Of course.
The more you practice, the better you become.
Interesting you said that about because that really stems back to conversations we have a lot internally about our clients and that actual sales process, whether it's lead generation and e-com, depending on the product cost. Because, one of the things that's happened with Facebook is the attribution window has gone from 28-day to 7 days because of this iOS 14 thing. And it's really started to ring true because, for instance, like when the conversations we've had with your business, we're creating the leads for you, but it's such a lengthy life cycle before you get a sale in that we're still waiting for those leads to close so we can actually start seeing what those leads are like. And, when you're selling e-com products, which are 10, 20, 30 pounds on Facebook, it's a quick decision. They buy it there and then. But some of our most successful clients, they're selling, their average order value is £2,500. And these guys are getting like 16 times return on their ad spend, which is unbelievable. But it's understanding that whole sales process, because so many people, especially on the lead gen for smaller clients, is like, you understand it. So you get leads in, and it's obviously, you've got cash in your company. You understand that you've got to spend some on the marketing and advertising, which might go to it because it's all, you're going to lose money on the learnings. And it's like you understand your business to know how long it's going to take to get a sale in. So you're prepared to carry on feeding that advertising process on Facebook to get the leads coming in. But what a lot of small businesses don't, they're so emotional, so close to the money. They may not have a lot of money to do it. And, those leads come in, they're not following up properly. They're not doing all these type of things, which is really, really important, because automatically it's, Facebook didn't work for me. But you've got to lead nurture, haven't you, during that process? So it's not just getting the Facebook lead coming in, it's what you're doing at the back end afterwards.
Well, yeah. So if you look at that Wolf of Wall Street, where the Wolf process 1 to 10, the Facebook lead represents steps 1, 2, and 3, if you like. Step 1 is the picture. Are you in front of the customer, your avatar that you want? So for me, it's home renovation. Are we in front of someone interested in home renovation? Step 2 is getting them to click onto my website. Step 3 is getting them to fill out a form. That is the first step. And the same with e-com. The next step is getting them to read through your website. The next step is getting them into that select a product. The next step is getting them to add a cart. And number 9 and 10 is paying for the product. So it's how do you get each little step and understanding your position in that, Nick and James. So, I've heard all your podcasts, as you regularly speak about, you can take a horse to water, you can't make them drink. The website itself has to have something about it if it's going to convert into a sale. Or in our case, where people aren't going to buy, £5,000 worktops on the internet, we need to make sure our sales process is good enough to hold on to the customer so that we can close later down the line. And you mentioned it in your email marketing podcast as well.
Yeah.
That's step 5 or 6, keep the customer interested.
Yeah.
So just a business needs to understand at what part of the process their customer is at, and then when and how to engage with them. But exactly. You guys effectively get someone from 0 to step 3, if you like.
I would say that a lot of businesses.
Your job.
Yeah, I mean, we had it, didn't we, like Theo, last week when we were on a call, because I measured my kitchen and you helped me use, and this is the thing, helped me use your online tool where we're sending your leads through to. And by doing that exercise, I was stumbling, wasn't I, on a few of the things. And you're automatically, because of the person you are, automatically thinking, I need to fix that, because you're talking millimeters, but you're talking centimeters or whatever. Oh, and that bit should be a drop down, and you can't actually write the figure in. Those little fixes. So, but you understand that, and those things get fixed. I would say James's point of view from being like front of house at the agency is that people will come in, and in a way, a lot of people think that I'm in business. It doesn't matter whether my product's good, bad, website's good, bad, no matter what. Facebook ads will get me money. And it's like, no, they will.
The problem is,
will be set up.
So in the,
Facebook ads will get you leads. Sorry, James.
Facebook ads leads. Yeah.
But everyone wears rose tinted glasses. You know, Theo, you're rare. Most business owners, unfortunately, whatever they do will think it's the bee's knees. That's just reality. You know, I say 99 times out of 100, their website's always amazing looking, their product's amazing. What they won't look at it is from the customer's perspective. Very rarely will they look at it from that side. Whereas, you know, as Nick's just explained, then when he was trying to get some, you know, very cheap marble from you as a favour, you know, you're automatically, as you're going through that process, going, actually, we can change that because of the customer journey. A lot of companies aren't like that.
Yeah, I think look, as a business owner, part of your job is educating the customer. I mean, what you're trying to do effectively is say to the customer, we're gonna help you earn more money. But I think you guys, it's really important that you tell the customers that you're only going to take them 50% there. You know, you can get me my inquiries. Hi, we want to buy a kitchen worktop. You can get me Mr. and Mrs. Smith and Mr. and Mrs. Jones in front of me. You can get her to my shop. You can make her walk in. But if we don't greet her with a smile and engage with her and show her the products and give her a competitive quote, she's not going to buy a worktop off me. And yeah, I mean, I guess that's part of the challenge, James, isn't it, in your business? How do you go about educating? I mean, so I when I do my business coaching, I do it like this. You've got 5 aspects to a business. You've got your marketing. Marketing brings in the leads. You've got your sales. Sales is converting those leads into money. Operations, delivering those sales, the promise that you've made to your customers, someone's got to deliver those. Finance, someone's got to pay for everything. And HR, building your business with people. So let's run Facebook ads. Your business is doing that first part of 5 steps of the business. And you're doing that first step of the marketing, bringing the leads in. What your job is not is converting that lead into a sale. Now, one would argue, is that service you can offer your clients? Is that something that you need to offer your clients because they clearly need help with it because they're not converting?
Yeah.
And that's
interesting. It's interesting you say that, actually, because of our background in data, we sell databases. It's an Excel spreadsheet based on some demographic criteria that a business wants. Get sent to them, done. Sales closed, basically, you know, and that industry is working on that data being of good quality, because if all the telephone numbers are wrong, client's going to come back and say, this is a load of rubbish. So that's basically where you are. And I remember the conversation that James and I had when I was testing this Facebook marketing for a couple of businesses. And it was like, okay, well, all we need to do is we just need to deliver. We need to get someone on Facebook to go to that client's website, and they'll either become a lead or become a sale. And it's like, okay, that's great. But the problem is, which we're later finding, which is how our agency is evolving every single day, is the fact that there's no longevity in that, because if the client doesn't understand how to make their website better to close sales, or they don't understand how that sales process should work to close the leads into sales, they'll just come back to Facebook marketing doesn't work, and we lose them as a client. And now for us to have the longevity of a business for whatever we want to do in the future, we need clients to stay with us for as long as possible. Otherwise, you're always just chasing your sales, aren't you? Like any other business, we want to keep those retainers going. We want to keep that going. So our business is changing now. You know, we're building new funnels, new infrastructure, not to say that we're going to teach someone how to sell, but we're going to make it the whole funnel a lot more streamlined, that person is more likely to sell at the end of the day. We're not going to get on the phone for client and say, right, we'll close your deals as well. We might as well have their own business. But so many different things we have to put into place, because if someone's website is absolute horseshit for an e-com point of view, they're just going to bounce. All that traffic would come in and go, don't love it, don't like it, don't trust it, gone. Or the load time, just the load time being 6 seconds, people will bounce.
Yeah, so there's a couple of things there. So first is it about you guys having someone on your team or a partnership with some sort of user experience company, or having someone, because that's all about psychology, what colors you should use, where you should position the text on your website, all of that. Is that something that you have in-house, or is that something you outsource? But that's the sales part that businesses need. I mean, you mentioned email marketing. That's, in my opinion, possibly one of the services you can offer. I know you talk about it's easy. It was like 2p an email, whatever you said, 0.02 of p, James, in the last podcast. But someone's got to set that all up. Someone's got to put the emails together.
So
that's a job.
Well, in the background, we've so I guess, sort of we'll let the rabbit out of the hat now. So in the background, I've been creating a automated platform for clients to use for this reason, is because you've got the MailChimps of the world, but I wanted a system that was easy for people to set up a nurturing sequence once a lead is coming to the business. Because as we stressed last week, and as we stressed a lot on this, Nick and Matt stressed a lot on this podcast, is that, we can get you the leads, but, the most important thing is, in your step 2 is the sales part, which unfortunately that brings in the follow-up calls, whether it's text messaging, whether it's WhatsApp messages, whether it's email marketing, whether it's re-engaging that with an ad, whether that's on Google, YouTube, Facebook, just to really not only educate them, but convince them more, get them from 2 to... let's say 5 within the 1 to 10, whatever that is.
Yeah.
So I in the background have been creating a all-encompassing system. So you don't have to go to MailChimp for one system. You don't have to then go to WhatsApp for another. It's all-encompassing, which will be going live in by the end of the month, he says, hopefully. Because of that,
sign me up.
What, you've already been signed up, Theo. I've already sent you invoice.
So Theo, from your point of view, Theo, then on that, because like one of those last podcast episodes, and what we say to our audience, because our audience is obviously people who want to learn about Facebook ads, but our podcast isn't just about Facebook ads, because there's so much more to it. Obviously, the Facebook ads is highly important. There's a lot to talk about, but the back end is what we call the back end. Once that leads come in, even from an e-com point of view, we don't see any e-com clients doing any email, apart from the, hey, you left something in a basket email in the hope that someone's put their email address into the website. That's the only email nurturing they do. From your point of view, how important do you see it from, even though email, people could see email as being, oh, it's old hat, it's been around for ages. Massively important, yeah?
So it's really not about boring people. So I do use a company for my email marketing for another business, right? And that's the kitchen business, Designer Kitchen. So what we do with that is we do our Facebook advertising, we get our leads in, they go into my database, if you like. And then we're email marketing, but we're doing it tastefully. And I'll give you an example. It was St. Patrick's Day 2 days ago. Mm-hmm. We did a happy St. Patrick's Day email thing. Earlier this month, it was Mother's Day. Buy your mother a new kitchen. Earlier this month, it was a different thing. So over the course of each month, I think it's Red Nose Day today, I think. My daughter left for school with a red nose on today. What I'm saying is, it's not about boring your clients with, we sell luxury kitchens, come in for a design. It's about happy Red Nose Day. Light up your kitchen with this red worktop or with red units, the Ferrari kitchen, whatever, like play on that. And then every month is something different, isn't it? February, we did a spin on Valentine's Day. We did something on, I think it was some sort of National Bakers Day or something, whatever. There's always something going on, isn't there?
Yeah.
Christmas, you do your Christmas offers. Summer, you do your summer offers. Halloween offers. You keep it fresh. The content has to be good. But if I could pay you guys a fee every month to handle that for me and send emails to my customers, you guys who understand the data and what's better. And the reason I pay you guys is because you're going to do better adverts than me. It's not like we don't know how to use Facebook ads. It's not rocket science. You put your picture up, you put your content on, you put your audience in. As you know, I did it.
Yeah.
But then I knew you'd be better at it than me, which you are. And
actually, let's go on to that, Theo. I want to go into this actually. So, do you want to explain how did we meet in terms of? So, I'd like to tell the audience how we met. You and I met, because you didn't obviously know Nick until you started working with us. So, I'd like you to tell the audience in terms of how we met and then why you, I guess, gave us a shot, really.
So my history, if you like, with telesales, went from telesales, went to marketing, and I was a really early adopter in Google, right? So if you Google marble worktops, I'm number 1 on Google. If you Google granite worktops, we're first page. I really put it into SEO. And what I found is I read a book called How to Get to the Top of Google, which is all about SEO.
Is that right?
Yeah. And I got loads of companies in and they were quoting me so much money to do my SEO. I was like, but this is not. Anyway, I stumbled across a company that I worked with really well and it worked great. And I realized that you have to understand something before you pay somebody else to do it as a business owner. It's really important. I can do my own accounts, but I pay an accountant.
We did it with email marketing, didn't we, James? We wrote our own first hook emails. They worked okay. Then we went to a top people to do it, paid a lot of money for it, saw the difference, went, okay.
There you go. So I wanted to get into Facebook. I've read a few books on it. I read, I forgot the name of the book now, but I read a couple of books on social advertising. And I am a consultant, as you know, an award-winning consultant, may I say. And businesses have hired me to help them with their marketing. And one of those businesses were the children's clothing brand that you've referred to a couple of times. And they were just paying a fortune to Tom, Dick and Harry to look after their marketing and their sales. And as I have that experience, I went in there, helped them out for a couple of months. And that's where we met, because you were doing the marketing bit for them, which we were doing a good job. But it was the sales part that they needed fixing. But again, you were intuitive about it. You redeveloped a landing page, which helps with the conversion, which is arguably not your job, but you did it. But the main thing is, guys, and I'll be deadly honest with you, and this might be a confession here, is I've used 3, 4, 5 companies before, but the work that you put in for that company was incredible. And I thought, wow, if I get half as much of the effort that these guys have put into this children's clothing brand onto my marble business, we are going to fly. And I can see it. I can see the testing of the audience. I can see the images that you're testing. I can see the text. I can see that, all right, not every day, but you guys are on it. And it's about value at the end of the day. And like I said, I used 5 companies on Google, 10 even, and I picked the one I like. And I've used a number of companies, and I just think you guys are very good.
Well,
classy,
and you
honest,
understand,
efficient.
From a client's point of view, it's a slow. Sometimes it could be a slower start to get the testing thing. But we were discussing last week, middle of funnel. The middle of funnel now for your account is starting to create leads as well as the top of funnel. So now we're going into another phase of the testing where we're coming back into, now we've got so much data coming through, we're now going further into audience testing, because I know you said about the audiences last week. So that's the next stage. At the beginning of next week, we go back into some audience testing, because we're going to create a top, middle and bottom of funnel. By the end of middle next month, you'll be creating leads at each stage. And I'd like to think that the middle and the bottom are going to be really hot, because they've come in at the top. They've come somewhere on your website. It's quite interesting actually, Theo, because you haven't been creating leads at the top of funnel based on website visitors. You have been creating them based on the people who went to your page to actually go and get a quote. So they're actually coming back through. So you're thinking they've had one touch point. They've gone to the quotation page. They forgot to fill out or whatever happened. They then gone back to it and brought in as lead. But at the bottom of the funnel, you've had 3 touch points of someone going to the same page. They're going to be nice, hot leads. And that's the thing. And what we're working, it's getting to that stage. And once you start seeing those leads coming through on your sales timeline and they start converting, we're going to know that the cost per acquisition needs to be right and everything. And it's creating that. And then you can start scaling. I think just a lot of people come into this game with, it's going to be an overnight thing. And it's just like, 3 days later, have I got anything yet? It's like, wait.
I think also what Theo's just touched upon then, Nick, and very kind words, Theo. I appreciate that. Good lad. Like that.
True words.
But it's just, that particular company, you're right. When I looked at, that particular company, I'll be honest, we both looked at it from the outside and gone, they've been stung. That's, and we've, I felt that they've been taken advantage of a little bit, which is why we not that we won't put that much effort into everyone, but, I felt a bit guilty in truth, which is why we put just so much effort to try and get them to a place where they are now, which is great. but you're right, that even looking at it from that landing page perspective, trying to educate an audience, actually looking at it from their perspective, I think that's where, and you've obviously seen that value in terms of, should we as an agency actually be doing that? Should we be doing, is that going way too above and beyond, or is that our USP?
I think you'll only stay in business if you offer that long term. How about that? I think that they come hand in hand. Yeah. You can't just generate leads anymore. People need more help with that. Because the reality is, guys, people are good at one of those 5 things, aren't they? You're either really good at finance, you're either really good with people in HR, you're either really good at operations, really good at sales, or really good at marketing.
Nick's our HR guy.
Yeah, I can tell that. And I bet you're the salesman, James. And he's probably very good at operations. And,
love a bit of admin.
You learn this over time, and you have to know what your strength. I got an FD in for my business, a finance director, and he changed my business 4 years ago because I'm terrible with money. We weren't even invoicing customers after they were buying worktops off us. It was that bad.
It's the admin side, isn't it? But your natural ability is going towards just closing.
You have to understand what you're not good at. And
yeah.
And at the end of the day, if people are hiring you guys, it's because they need leads in their business. And all right, there's some people like me that are fairly strong at the sales side. I really only need you for the leads because mine's not e-com. I'm not, and I know you guys talk about e-com a lot, but I'm the other client. I'm the client that I just want leads.
Yeah.
But maybe I need help at, operations. Maybe we get to a stage where I'm like, guys, I can't make any more than this amount of worktops. We're struggling. And then
from a lead point of view, it's the new system that James, talked about earlier, where it's going to have the email marketing. That's the funnels that we'll be doing. So from our point of view, and I think, where how does this conversation help our listeners? It's the fact that, the marketing people and the business owners of our company, and they're large and small, and in America, and we've looked at some of those companies and some decent companies on there, is that at the end of the day, you can't just rely on putting a Facebook ad out there and then being able to scale it and everything works like magic. There's so many other elements in it. And if we can use Facebook and other platforms alike and create this funnel for you, so out the bottom, someone really hot comes out, which makes your sales process even better, kind of thing, as an example, that's going to create longevity with a client. And essentially, they're going to find it very hard to find other people who can do those sort of things. I think people just in a lot of the time, especially in the services sector, they just want a quick win, and they don't want to provide all that value to create the longevity. You see it all the time. The big brands in our industry win the clients, and we know of people who've worked for those big brands or clients of those big brands, and they've said the same thing as you, which is great. It's just like they've worked with 5 agencies and they've never seen the level of detail that we go into to get someone's ad working and get it working for them, because they don't really care. And maybe it's a little bit of a downfall from our point of view, but we get a kick out of seeing a customer getting the goals that they're hitting the KPIs and changing their business.
I think just going off that, Nick, in terms of that whole process, in terms of how you've got stage 1, which is marketing, then stage 2, sales. What's interesting is bringing those two together. A word I use a lot is becoming omnipresent. Because if someone's coming into your ecosystem for a marble worktop, or for a baby garment, or for guttering, or whoever it may be, if they're in the market and they've shown interest in that product, you want to be the only person they think of. Now, from a sales and marketing perspective, we can create you that lead. But if Joe Bloggs down in Windsor is looking for a marble worktop, that sales process and that follow-up process is so important, because you want to be omnipresent, because they may go away for a week. They may not have time to measure up their kitchen. You just want to always be in their face, don't you? Because they may not purchase today, but they may purchase tomorrow. And if they've shown enough interest to click on that ad or put in their details to become a lead, you do not want to just let them go. And unfortunately, Theo, as we both know, from a sales perspective, you can't just leave it now in the hands of a salesperson. You need that follow-up process. Although I'm sure you're going to say, I've got an absolute operational process that everyone works to in the business, and even if someone new comes in, they know exactly what they're doing. But having that automation, I personally think
how you
is just
scale
so
properly
important.
worldwide. Yeah, especially for the products and stuff. So they say that 1% of people buy on the first interaction, 2% on the second, something like 4% on the third, 8% on the fifth, and then something like all purchases are made between the 7th and 10th interaction with the business. 50% of them, something like that. They also say that 97% of all sales statistics are made up, but
Yeah, but we had to have those processes in our data company because we had salespeople and things like that, and we knew it was 5 weeks from when someone came in as a lead. We offered, and it's talking about the hooks as well. For that business, we understood the marketplace, and I think we were one of the only people in our entire marketplace that advertised like this. I don't think that actually many others even advertised. But what we came to realize is understanding your client. So it's what's your client's problem? People buy because they've got a problem, and what's your solution to that problem? And we realized that the problem in the data industry was that data was crap. It was the quality was bad. The telephone numbers worked. People were dead 4 years ago. Blah blah blah. So we realized that 97% of the people that we spoke to had been burnt in the past by buying a database that was dodgy. So they wasted money. So their trust had completely gone on it. So our marketing campaign came around that we knew our data was valuable. We knew the quality was good. So it was like, we'll have some for free. And it's not us just giving them 100 companies to say, here you go, here's some perfect ones we've already called yesterday. It was completely random. Out of 2 million companies in the UK, based on their criteria, they have to be, people chose their local towns because they understood the businesses. We'd give them 100 records. And then the process of the sales team was email marketing and follow-ups by the salespeople. And we knew that it took 5 weeks on average for those people to close. And obviously we'd have to run the numbers again. I'm sure we probably got it written down somewhere. It was a while back, but it was a perfect system. The problem we had, which is probably the biggest bugbear of this whole thing, salespeople. Salespeople is the hardest thing and the thing that causes the most stress in every business, because salespeople are salespeople. James is obviously front of house. I'm back of house. The people that I deal with all the time are people like me. We're in the ads. We enjoy the processes. That's all the thing. We're just looking at the stats, and it's a completely different person to that team up front who are just grabbing the deals and they want the commissions and blah blah. So anyone listening to this who doesn't have to worry about salespeople and can bring someone into a nice sales process, heaven.
Actually, I've got a question to ask actually, Theo. So I've got a little saying which I stand by, but recently I've actually come to realise I might not be right. You don't put a saddle on a Mustang with salespeople.
Don't put a saddle on.
I leave them to their own devices. I'm not one that, everyone works different ways, and we in both businesses now. People work from home when they want. I don't care what hours they do. Lucy's going to Spain to work for 2 months because she's got an Airbnb and she can. As long as she's still doing the work, I'm totally happy. With salespeople, it's very different, isn't it? Now, in terms of your own process, go on.
COVID has revolutionized that. I was probably like you. I mean, I had, back in the day, you can imagine, big telesales operator, I had supervisors, I had managers. I was recording the amount of time people were on the phone, they were clocking in. Every 4 hours, there'd be a report on how long people would be on the phone for. I was micromanaging everything. And pre-COVID, my stone business, again, my salespeople, how long have you been on the phone for? How many calls have you made? I mean, I'm always going to measure that. I can't help it.
Yeah.
But COVID happened and everyone went home. And the productivity that increased by letting people work from home was incredible. And it made me think, well, no, it's proven. Like you said, James, not everyone needs to be in the environment. I've got my top sales girl. She's at home. She works 3 days a week. She's got a little one, so she's a working mum. And she bangs out the sales. She sold like 15 worktops last week from the comfort of her living room. She's generated the best part of £50,000
in a week
from home. I bet your
commission structure is still not 20 quid, is it?
Well, my commission structure's healthy. I got a happy team. But the point is, you are right. Some people do need that push, and they do need a bit of leadership, and they do want to be around a buzzy area. Some people want peace and quiet. Some people don't need that vibe of everyone else. Some people need a bit of, as business owners, what gets measured gets done. So you can still see how many emails Lucy's writing from Spain. You can still see how many phone calls she's making. You can still track her activity. But yeah, I think that certainly things have changed after COVID, and I'm a lot more relaxed than I ever was when it comes to sales. It's all about the numbers, right? Oh, you bring your money in? Yes. Okay, do what you want.
Yeah, because at the end,
I've got a sales guy. I've got a sales guy that brings in £2 million a year. He can do what he wants. He can work when he wants. He can go holiday when he wants. He can be sick when he wants. I don't care.
Yeah.
It's okay. Do what you need to do.
Yeah, absolutely.
So bring the money in, right?
Yeah, wow. Yeah, salespeople, I do love them and loathe them at the same time. They're
but anyone can learn sales. That's the important thing.
And what is interesting about your mum, you said quite reserved, quite quiet.
Quiet, like a mouse.
Very good salesperson.
Yeah.
It's a skill. Yeah, this notion of our...
Yeah, no one's born good at things. We become good at things through hard work, persistence, and good teachers. Put that.
And then Theo, the last thing, how did we get you over the line? What
that smile, James. Look at those teeth. How can you not trust someone with a smile like that?
What was it, Theo? Was it the book?
I still haven't read the book.
Have you not?
I haven't read that. I can't lie to you. You're too much of a good man. I'm part of a book club, and we're trying to get that book into the book club so that we can read it. But I will read the book. I'm going to Cyprus in the summer to see my parents, so I'll definitely read it. But no, that was a nice touch, James. It showed that you care, and that you have an emotional side to you, and that, people do business with people they like. Finished. That's it.
Yeah. So for those listening, Theo told me he liked reading, and as he was about to leave his consultancy with the baby garment, I got his address and sent him a little book we discussed, and a few days later I got a text on WhatsApp.
That's my secret, giving people books. You can't nick my move and use it on me. That's like my secret weapon.
It worked.
I'm always sending people books. It worked. It did. And there you go. Now you're enjoying the fruits of your labour.
Yeah, well, I'm excited actually. What I was going to say, in terms of the system that we're building, and nearly at the end of it now, which is exciting. We'll have to come back on once you.
Let me know if you want to test it on a client.
Yeah. Already test.
Actually, so before we to wrap up this podcast, the question I want to ask really is going back to our podcast that James and I did the other day of when should a business use an agency? From your point of view, when should a business use an agency?
So to generate work, you need two things. Any business needs one of two things to generate work. You either need money or you need time, right? When we didn't have a lot of money, I was going to these business networking events, waking up at 6 a.m, networking because it was cheap and it was just my time. I was doing telesales because it was just my time. I was trying my luck at online advertising because it was just my time. If you don't have any money and you need to be resourceful, then at the very least, listen to your podcasts and following you guys and the courses that you offer will help people that don't have a lot of money get started. Now, at one point, your time will become more valuable than the money you will pay someone else. And it would cost me probably £40,000 or £50,000 a year to get your expertise in my business. For me to go and hire someone with a good marketing background that understands Facebook, but I'm getting you and your entire team for a fraction of that. So you are an extension of my employees. And lots of people, lots of, anyway.
No, but you're right. Even hundreds, thousands of pounds a month to an agency that's good.
You're a member of my staff. That's how I look at it. You're a member of my team, and someone should use you so that they can get on with other stuff. At the end of the day, I can go and do other things now within my business and leave this to you. And I know I'm getting a good deal because I understand it. It's like getting a builder in your house. You're going to get 3-4 quotes before you do the extension, right? You know, you get 3-4 quotes. You make sure you use a good builder that's recommended. You like their work. You've seen their work. You don't build your own house. You let someone else do it. And I think that people that truly want to grow their businesses in scale, they need that expertise. I mean, you two have got 20, 30 years in data, combined experience in what you do. You don't get that every day. That's not easy to find. And at the end of the day, someone's going to use you. And after 3 months, if it's not working, they're going to stop using you. So it's not that big an investment.
Yeah, absolutely.
And like a staff member, you got to hire them, you do them a contract, you train them. It doesn't work out after X amount. I've let a salesperson go who's with me 2 years. It took me 2 years to give him the chance to get good. But with digital marketing, it's not like that. You know, within a couple of weeks, people will see a return. And that's what it's about, guys. People using an agency, not any agency as well. You say an agency, James, the right agency will make them money. And that is unfortunately what we're all in business for.
Anything that you would look for?
Get away from the wife and kids.
So you're getting your 3 quotes, 4 quotes, anything you look for?
In an agency.
Because it's quite hard, isn't it? So, you know, that person.
Yeah, I want to know that you're working. I want to know that you're working. I want transparency. The reports are very important to me. I need my reports, and I do get them. The reports, they tell me everything. The numbers tell you everything. They're like financial reports. You need them. The numbers tell you everything. I like the engagement. It's not, you know, I don't need hold hand. I don't need you to speak to me every week on a Zoom call. That's okay, you know. We catch up once a month or once every couple of weeks. That's cool with me. But yeah, honesty, transparency, good work, obviously. It's just your values, isn't it? All the values, integrity. Never lie to me. You never lie to me. If I catch you, it's over.
Well, I think that was quite nice, actually, Theo, what you were saying about when you're in a place where you can trade money for time. And I think that'll resonate with a lot of people, because a lot of people have tried to go to an agency too early. And we've been the same. You know, we've taken on clients that in truth weren't ready for an agency. They weren't there yet. They were close, but some weren't. And looking back at it now, actually, you know, obviously we've had some learnings from when this all first started. We would have looked back now and gone, you're too small for an agency. Regardless if it's us or someone else, you know, maybe a freelancer, but you're not ready to take on an agency because you're not there yet.
It's also making it enjoyable, isn't it? The people you want to work with, we want to work with people, and vice versa. That, you know, we look forward to your calls. You look forward to these client meetings. You do, though, because if you're dealing with someone you don't actually want to work with because you don't really like their attitude towards the relationship, it's not going to create any longevity, is it?
That's a luxury position to be in, though, Nick. Unfortunately, we've all got clients that we've got to bite our tongue with, and you know, I mean, business, isn't it? But no, keep doing what you're doing. I'm really enjoying your podcast. I think they're great.
You're on it now, yeah.
They're a lot shorter than this normally, but they're good. They're snappy. You always get a couple of good nuggets from it.
That's what we want.
That likes learn. I think you two are going to go on a journey as well. I think you're, you know, learning on the tools, if you like. I think you're only going to get better. Keep doing your research. Keep doing what you're doing. You're flying.
Good. Well, thank you for your time.
Theo.
Pleasure. Thank you for the honor, guys. What can I say? Wow. I'm looking forward to working with you guys further and developing our relationship. And here's to the next 12 months.
Definitely.
Out of COVID, let's see what you can really do.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I've enjoyed that, Theo, so I appreciate that. You're a legend.
Take care.
Thanks again, guys. Take care. See you later.
Bye.
So, guys.